aggregate demand. Now, what is aggregate demand? Let me brief you. Who demands? Demand is made by whom? Demand is made by the consumer. Supply. Who supplies? Supplies are made. Supplies are done by the producer. Okay. Now, if I talk about an individual, if I talk about an individual or entire country, if I talk about group or entire country, then I'll be considering aggregate demand. So this you should first understand what is aggregate demand and what is a demand. Demand is based on an individual. Aggregate demand is based on a group or country wise. What is the aggregate demand of India? What is the aggregate demand of US? On an average, we'll take how many people are demanding. That also means the total demand. Now, in case supply, if a single firm is supplying a good, we consider this as the firm is supplying those goods. If a group of firms put together in a country, there are so many firms, or a group of firms supply those goods, we call it as aggregate supply. Or we can also say it as total supply. We can also say it as total supply. This is one basic form which you should understand. Demand is made by an individual consumers. Consumers make demand and firms or the industries produces those goods. That means they will supply the goods. Okay, demand and supply. Who are those individuals who are making, or a group? You should understand. This is one sort. Next, now we will be talking about micro and we'll be talking about macro. What did we learn in the first stage? What did we learn in the first class? Micro means individual. Macro means holistic, put together entire country. So individuals demand, and here holistically macro means total, all the units, total demand. So what we call total demand? Aggregate demand. Aggregate demand. Now I'll be simply talking about micro demand first. So let me draw the graph of micro demand. The graph of micro demand looks like this. So on the y-axis, on the x-axis, I'll be considering quantity. So quantity is nothing but what? I'm talking here about demand. So in demand, who is demanding? Number of goods demanded by the consumers. If it is supply, number of goods supplied by the producer. So when it is demand, this is number of goods demanded by the consumer who is consuming. So here is the quantity and here is the price. That means as you move up, the price level increases. As you move this case, the quantities get increased. Quantity level get increased. Now in this case, aggregate demand curve looks like this. So what is this? Let me take one note point here. Let me take one point here and let me take one more point here. Now look at, just join this part. Just join all this nodal point. Now simple logic. What is happening here? You take this as 0. This is quantity 5, number of goods produced 5, number of goods produced 10, number of goods produced 15, and this is 20. Okay, now you take this as 5, you take this as 10 rupees, this is as 15 rupees, 20 rupees, and 25 rupees, price in rupees. Okay, now just take this point. Look at the y-axis. It talks about 20 rupees, comma, what is the quantity of goods? That you are getting 5 goods. That means To purchase 5 goods, you have to invest 20 rupees. And you take this point now. If you take this point, that means you have to invest 10 rupees to buy 15 goods. So what is happening here? Price is reducing, the number of goods are increasing. So from 10 rupees, 20 rupees, if you start investing rupees 10, for 20 rupees, you are getting only 5 goods. But for 10 rupees, you are getting 15 goods. So what do you conclude from this? It is inverse relationship. Very good. That means what? From my pocket, I invest 20 rupees. I am getting only 5 goods. Pocket, I invest 20 rupees. I am getting only 5 goods. So what do you think now? I'll wait because the prices of this good is very high. That's the reason I am getting very less goods. The prices are very high. I'm getting less goods. Just wait for certain period of time so that these prices will come down. As soon these prices will come down, people will think, yes, this is a time for me to invest so that I can go for more goods. So this is the individual person's behavior. I hope this is very clear. Chalo, don't worry. Let me take this concept again. See, when the prices are more, definitely what consumers will think? Consumers will think that let us not invest now. Just we'll wait from the investments. So what will happen when the prices are more? People will stop investments. They will think that these prices will fall, and later I can go for my purchases. Later I can go for, my investments. So this, when there is an increase in the prices, people are not investing. That means what? Demand is slowly falling. The demand will slowly reduce. So this is the concept of aggregate demand. Now you can look this. It's very clear. When prices are high here, look at number of quantities are sold are rupees. When the prices is 20, number of quantities sold are only 5. And the price is only 5, number of quantities which are sold is very high, that is 20. That means 20 goods are sold. 20 goods are sold when the price is very less. That means what? People are waiting so that I can invest very less from my pocket and I can purchase more goods. So what impact it will create? That means when the prices increases, the quantity is falling. And when prices decreases, then quantity will increase. Prices increases, people will think now the prices are very high. Let us stop investing. When you stop investing, what will happen? Demand will reduce. This reduction in demand will impact the quantity. That means number of quantities produced or number of quantities demanded will also reduce. This is the meaning of this graph. When the prices are less, obviously people have money and they will start investing, means demand goes high. Demand goes high, definitely number of quantities purchased or consumed by the consumers will be very high. As simple as that. Prices, demand and quantity, three of them should be in line.